The British Monarchy is currently navigating what experts are calling its nuclear winter. While the world's eyes have been fixed on King Charles's health and the Princess of Wales's return to duty, a massive silent explosion has occurred across the Atlantic that threatens to level the House of Windsor. Just hours ago, the United States Department of Justice, following years of legal battles and intense public pressure, finally pulled back the curtain on a massive cache of 3 million documents. These are the Epstein files, a digital and paper trail of the world's most notorious social circle. And at the very center of this storm, more entangled than anyone ever feared, is the York family. We aren't just talking about old rumors or vague associations anymore. We're talking about direct, time-stamped emails, vulgar personal exchanges, and photographs that the palace has spent millions trying to keep in the dark. This is the definitive downfall of Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson, and today we are breaking down every single page of this shocking revelation. To understand the gravity of these new leaks, we have to go back to the beginning of the relationship between Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York, and Jeffrey Epstein. For years, the public was told that their connection was superficial, a matter of a few financial favors. But these 3 million pages tell a much more intimate and disturbing story. The most damning evidence comes from a series of emails dated between 2010 and 2011. Keep in mind, this was after Jeffrey Epstein had already been convicted of procuring an underage girl for prostitution. In an exchange that has sent shockwaves through the UK, Sarah Ferguson refers to Epstein as the brother she always wished for. This wasn't just a business acquaintance, she viewed him as family. The documents reveal that Fergie's financial desperation was the tether that bound her to Epstein's dark world. At the time, she was reportedly £5 million in debt. The files show that she didn't just accept a one-time payment of £15,000, as was previously admitted. No, the ledger shows a much more complex web of consultancy fees and personal gifts that were funneled through various offshore accounts. In one particularly desperate email, the Duchess seemingly jokes about their relationship, telling Epstein, "Just marry me and solve all my problems." While her supporters might claim this was just her typical eccentric humor, the context of the emails suggests a woman who was willing to overlook Epstein's horrific crimes in exchange for a lifestyle she couldn't afford. But the emails aren't just about money. They take a turn into the truly unforgivable when the subject of her daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, comes up. The leaks suggest that Fergie mentioned her daughters in emails to Epstein in a way that royal insiders are calling vile and vulgar. While the specific details are being handled with extreme caution by legal teams, the reports indicate she discussed their personal lives and social circles with a man she knew was a sexual predator. This has reportedly left both Beatrice and Eugenie mortified and devastated. They have spent their entire adult lives trying to build independent, respectable reputations, only to have their own mother's past communications drag them back into the Epstein shadow. While Fergie's emails provide the context, it's the new evidence against Prince Andrew that provides the smoking gun for the public. Among the 180,000 images released in this digital dump are 3 undated, candid photos that have never been seen before. These aren't the grainy, disputed photos of the past. These are high resolution, and they show the Duke of York in a compromising position on all fours over an unidentified woman in what appears to be a private residence. The existence of these photos completely shatters the defense Andrew has maintained since his disastrous Newsnight interview. He has always claimed a lack of memory or denied being in certain locations, but these files provide a digital footprint that is impossible to erase. The US legal system is now moving at a pace the palace wasn't prepared for. Several members of the US Congress, bolstered by this new evidence, are renewing calls for Prince Andrew to be extradited or at least sit for a formal deposition under oath. They argue that if he has nothing to hide, he should have no issue answering questions about these specific images and the timestamps found in Epstein's private servers. The diplomatic immunity that has protected the Duke for so long is wearing thin, and the pressure on the US Department of Justice to act is at an all-time high. Back in London, the reaction from King Charles has been swift and clinical. The King has reportedly reached a breaking point. For months, there has been a cold war over the Royal Lodge, the 30-room mansion where Andrew and Fergie still live together, despite being divorced for decades. This week, as the Epstein files began to circulate in the press, witnesses spotted removal vans and unmarked security vehicles entering the estate. It appears the eviction notice has been finalized. King Charles is no longer asking, he is commanding. The Duke is being moved to Frogmore Cottage, the much smaller home formerly occupied by Harry and Meghan. This isn't just a move, it's a demotion. It's a clear signal to the world that the King is cutting the Yorks out of the inner circle for good. The financial fallout is also beginning to bite. Sarah Ferguson's main charitable venture, Sarah's Trust, has suddenly announced a restructuring, which many believe is a total shutdown. Major donors, horrified by the contents of the leaked emails, have pulled their funding overnight. In the US, Where Fergie has spent years building a brand as a children's author and TV personality, the backlash has been even more severe. Bookstores are reportedly pulling her titles, and talk shows have cancelled her upcoming appearances. The York brand is officially radioactive. As we look at the wreckage of these 3 million documents, we have to ask, what happens to the next generation? Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie are the collateral damage in this war. They are being forced to watch their parents' legacy crumble in the most public and shameful way possible. Rumors are circulating that Beatrice, in particular, is considering a permanent move to Italy with her husband's family to escape the constant scrutiny and the stain of the Epstein association. The question for the monarchy now is survival. King Charles is trying to build a slimmed-down monarchy, one that is focused on duty and transparency. But as long as Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson are linked to the crown, that goal seems impossible. This isn't just a tabloid scandal anymore, it's a global legal crisis involving the most notorious criminal files of the 21st century. Will the king take the ultimate step and ask Parliament to strip them of their ducal titles entirely? The public demand for such a move is at an all-time high, with recent polls showing that 85% of the UK public wants the Yorks removed from any official royal status. The coming weeks will be critical. As more pages of the 3 million documents are analysed by investigative journalists, we are likely to see even more names and even more connections. But for now, the message is clear. The shield of the royal family is gone. The Yorks are standing alone, facing a digital mountain of evidence that they can no longer run from. But what do you think? Is this the end of the line for Andrew and Fergie? Should King Charles strip them of their titles immediately to save the rest of the family? And more importantly, do you think the US will finally get the chance to put Prince Andrew under oath? This story is developing by the hour, and the implications for the future of the British monarchy are staggering. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'll be down there replying to as many as I can. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications because this is just the beginning of our coverage on the Epstein file fallout. Thank you for watching.